to the screen there. All right.
Well, I could, if you're going to be picky.
I just feel less things to distract you.
Oh.
Here we go.
I read a book, and it's called On the Road, and it's about a guy who he just basically leaves the things that he's doing and hits the road. Doesn't have any money, not very much money. He just decides to travel and see America with the little money that he had. And ever since that point, that's something that I've always wanted to do. And so last week, I finally had just decided I was going to do it. I got a week off of work and decided I was going to hit the road and see the West without any money. My goal is to make it to Washington State. That eventually didn't work out for me, but that was the goal. So I left my house. I dressed in a suit. I thought that might increase my chances of getting a ride now and then to be dressed up nice. And actually wore this coat and got a backpack full of food and started walking. Walked to where there's some freight trains that are owned by my house, and waited till I saw one that was northbound, and I ran alongside it and climbed up on and started heading north. But unfortunately, I didn't know that the tracks turned, and so I actually ended up going south on the train. It was going 50 miles an hour at that point, so there's no jumping off. But it stopped actually here in Salt Lake. I'm from Ogden. So I went from Ogden to Salt Lake, and I could see a sign for Interstate 80 on the interstate. So I thought, that's great. I need to head west. I'll just go stand by the on-ramp. And so I found a piece of cardboard, and I made a stop at a gas station and borrowed a marker, and I wrote west on it. And I stood on the side of the road with my sign. And it was like 5 hours to get out. No one was picking. Sometimes people would honk and wave and laugh at me, but no one was picking me up. So it was a little discouraging. So and then it started to rain a little bit. So I was a little bit bummed out. But I figured that there would be some obstacles. I figured it wouldn't be easy. So I had a tarp with me, and I made a little tent in a wooded area, and just camped out that night behind the truck stop by I-80. So the next morning I woke up, and it wasn't a couple hours before a guy pulled over and picked me up. And he was an older guy, and he thought I was going to the airport. I think a lot of people thought I was a missionary because I had my suit on. He thought I was going to the airport, but he took me out as far as Tooele and gave me some lunch, took me to McDonald's, and then we parted ways. Well, I got back down on the interstate, and it wasn't 45 minutes before another car pulled over and picked me up, and these two guys took me to Reno. So that was a good 8 hours with John Denver and crazy electronic music all the way through the desert. So finally we made it to Reno, and as we were pulling down, they were like, it's cold outside. We could drop you off at the edge of town, or you could crash in our hotel with us. I thought, cool, that's a warmer idea than the one that I had. So I slept in a hotel with the strangers, and I woke up sick, and I'm still sick from it. Actually, I think more than I might have been sick. So I just hung out in the hotel until checkout. They left early in the morning, so you can just hang out till checkout. Checkout is at 10. So I just watched TV and kept warm until it got a little bit warmer outside. And then, like I said, this was in Reno, and I bought a bus pass and took the bus to the west end of town. Hitched a ride with a construction worker to Sacramento, California. And then I started to think, I've got work on Monday. I should probably turn around and head home because I will be fired if I'm not at work. So there was a slow-moving train. It was just a really good opportunity. I was heading back east. So I threw my bag up on board and climbed on this train and took the train from Sacramento back to Reno. By the time I got back to Reno, it was pretty late. and I knew I wasn't going to get a ride that night. And so I climbed up in the mountains on the east side of the city and just camped out there. And that was an amazing night. The whole city was lit up. You could see the casinos and just the perfect temperature. And it was that made it all worth it, the whole trip and all of that. There were a couple hungry days, so that made the whole thing worth it. So the next morning I climbed down and got a ride with a guy that was heading back home from where he worked in Reno. He's heading back home to a little town called Fernley, and he gave me a ride to Farm Lake. And I got off and started thumbing a ride again, and this guy in a semi pulled over, and he was heading back to Utah. So I thought, awesome, I've done it, I'm heading back home. This guy was crazy, and he talked for 8 hours straight, all the way through the desert, non-stop talking. There was not a second where it was silent, and I was done. Like after 3 hours, I was thinking, I appreciate this ride, but I don't know how much this is worth it. Because then he started making stuff up about how when he was 3 years old, he started to be trained as a Kung Fu master. And his Kung Fu master was 67, and that he died when he was 97. And I realized that I could help him make up this story since he was just completely just pulling it out of nowhere. I was like, did your Kung Fu master die while he was fighting? He's like, yeah, man, he died. He died right in the middle of the fight. It's not because he got beat up. It's because his heart failed him because he was fighting so hard. And so it was a little bit more fun after I started messing with him a little bit. But when we got back to Salt Lake, we stopped at a truck stop where he was parking his truck for the night. And he said, okay, in there is really cool. We should probably let you just hang out all night there since it's cold outside. And so that was the case. She said, we got satellite, you can just hang out in the lounge till the sun comes up. If you want to go to sleep back there. I didn't go to sleep, I just watched TV. But the next morning I started walking, and I had taken $15 with me, and I had 5 left. So I took it to the bus station and bought a bus pass and took the bus from Salt Lake back up to Ogden. So that was that. And I left on a Tuesday and got home on a Saturday about noon. So that was my on the road adventure. It was nothing like I expected it to be, and it was nothing like any vacation I've ever taken. It was awesome. It's completely fulfilling in a different way than any other vacation could be.